Instagram, one of the top things that they're looking at is how engaged are you in your direct messages. You do that, they're going to start literally favoring you on the feed side of things because you're very, very highly active in your direct messages.
I wanted to welcome you to the show and welcome our guest today, Rohan Sheth. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Roland, for having me.
So you've got a couple of cool companies that you have built. One is GrowRev, not GrevRo. GrowRev.com. That's an agency?
Yes.
Right?
So GrowRev was one of my first online businesses outside of the affiliate world that I got into. Build the agency by myself till 2015, and then brought Matt, who's my business partner, on board. And we kind of initially started with just Google and Facebook, which everybody was wanting to do, and Facebook was in its heyday. And it got to a point where we started to realize that a lot of our clients that we were scaling in ad spend wanted to go multi-network. And I was like, that is a problem that the market needs to fix. And then we just Matt was like, let's just go multi-network.
So for people that don't know what multi-network means.
So multi-network is not only just running on two of the biggest, obviously Facebook and Google, which everybody's running on. And now we're doing native. So Outbrain, Taboola, Rev Content, Yahoo Gemini, those are just a few to name. Snapchat, Pinterest. If you're doing any adult offers, some things like Traffic Junkie. So those are just a few different networks that we're running on right now. So it's not just taking you on one and scaling you, but it's taking you across multiple networks and then scaling you from there.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Most people that I know right now are using, a lot of people are using Facebook exclusively, and we've got some people that are going back to Google, and some people are still using search and display with Google. But you decided to kind of make your specialty off those two things. Yeah. You do those two things too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But you do all the others. Tell us a little bit about kind of advantages, disadvantages. What are the options outside of Google and Facebook, and what's good or bad or indifferent about them?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we noticed, obviously, with last year with Facebook's whole compliance issues and stuff that they went through, we noticed that everybody had their eggs in one basket, and it was really, really good. We were having a conversation this morning with someone, and we're like, it kind of ruined marketing to a certain way. The way I look at it is I studied direct response and the true advertorial style of direct mail marketing, and Facebook just got good because you put up a video or you put up a long form post and you just had conversions, right? But it got to a point where compliance came into issue last year, and we're like, okay, well, we already had clients that we were running on Snapchat. We took an app from 0 to 40,000 downloads in 90 days, and no one even knew that we were doing that using 100% on Snapchat. And I'm like, well, I looked at Matt, I'm like, why don't we quit being the Facebook agency and start becoming the multi-network agency where we could take people that are running good amounts on Facebook, like $20,000-$30,000 a month, which is a decent amount for most businesses, and then take them to the $250, $500 million a month spends, and take them across multi-network. And once we started to do that and we kind of etched our space there, it literally took off, because now clients come to us and be like, hey, we're stuck on Facebook, we know we could scale it, but we want to look at everything else because they've already heard so many nightmares. Like a couple weeks ago, we took over an account. The next day, Facebook had the crazy, shutdown that they decided to have the very next day.
Yeah.
And that was the best learning lesson. It's my pitch to them was, let's take you multi, don't be all on Facebook. We take over the account. The next day, Facebook goes down. I was like, my questions have been answered by Facebook. Thank you. Facebook's a great place to be. And it's one of those things where it's we were, let's say 80% Facebook at one point, and now we're probably 60% Facebook, 40% other networks. Facebook's still great. I'm not saying that it's a bad network, but it's start diversifying, because you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And you don't really have a business if it's only on
one network. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Direct Heroes. How this is a SaaS for helping folks do things with Instagram.
Yeah.
What are the applications of that? What does it actually do?
Direct Heroes is, if you really think about it, it's just a chatbot for Instagram, but it's turning into more of a CRM for Instagram, where once we attach your account, not only can we help communicate with your following and help build flows and campaigns through that, but we can also tell your engagement rate and multiple different things that can actually help your Instagram account. Because Instagram was one of those networks or social media platforms the longest time that most people didn't really know how to monetize, which we kind of saw from a different angle, because influencers were nailing it, but the regular business person couldn't figure it out. So we kind of put the two together and came up with the idea of building Direct Heroes.
Nice.
So the simplest way for someone to use it, a perfect example would be if you understand just any Facebook automation chatbots on Facebook. You can't just go out and use your Facebook page and mass DM. Yes, can you create codes for it? Absolutely, everybody. And let's be real, we've all seen people that have done it.
Right.
But this is more of building a subscriber list within your Instagram direct messages. So ideally, for example, we just did a recent campaign for an e-commerce company in a clothing line, and they gave away $1,000 gift certificate to the company, and pretty much the entire the meta of the entire campaign came out to be, hey, we're giving this away, DM us X word, and then from there it opens up an automation campaign inside their direct messages.
Okay.
And then from there we just say, okay, if you want additional entries, go and follow the page or tag 2 people. Now that's creating organic virality. And from there it ended up just the amount of reach that we got from it, just because other people are starting to tag it. Then we all obviously incentivize, go share this on your story, because if they share it on their story, we're able to send off another message because they're already part of the DM world inside the subscriber list of Direct Heroes.
What's the best way, do you think, for somebody to use, just the average business, let's say, to use Direct Heroes or to use Instagram? Actually, let's start with Instagram and then talk about Direct
The biggest
Heroes.
thing with Instagram that I'd say is, just be more consistent with content. A lot of the times people have highs and lows and infatuations with, being on Instagram as a network, and then someone will wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to be the next Instagram influencer. Well, yeah, you can be, but it's like, let's be consistent with content and just be more real with content. And people are getting more and more to a point where they're starting to realize that the content on Instagram, the Lamborghinis and that whole world of things is starting to kind of go back to people want a real feel.
Yeah.
And as long as you're willing to share that part of your life and actually be real with them, the more your engagement's going to go up. Now, once your engagement starts to go up on the back end, you plug in a tool like Direct Heroes and get people to, let's say, hey, I'm going to give you my free mini course if you just DM me blank word. Now you're building a list inside of your DMs, and then you can actually communicate with them and tell them stories and kind of things that are going on. So they're following you on Instagram on the social end of things, but then you're also having a separate conversation on the same platform, and then from there you're building, whether it's an email list, because you could zap into your email lists, and not only build your subscriber list on Direct Heroes, but then also communicate through them with email, going back to multi-touch and multi-network, which a lot of the times we have to do today because we live in such an ADD society that if you don't catch them on Instagram while they're scrolling quick enough, you may get them to the DMs or even get them to their email, and kind of just use that as a starting platform before getting too technical and crazy with what you can do with bots today.
What about lives? Tell me about Instagram TV, IGTV, right?
Yeah.
And lives and things like that. How does that fit into anything that you're doing or anything you see that's working super well?
Instagram lives overall, anything video based. I love video, and obviously we're shooting this live right now. Is pretty epic because you could take chunks of this, and we could do let's say, for example, if you're doing a specific giveaway with someone on that time, and it's while you're watching this video, if you get to a certain point in the video, you could say, hey, if you go to the Business Lunch Podcast right now and DM me the word Business Lunch Podcast, hypothetically, I'm going to give you something for free.
Right.
But it's now that builds engagement because they've had to stay through a lot of the podcast.
Right.
So you're actually getting your true followers to come in and actually give away something to them for free.
Right.
So that video part of it, I enjoy a lot there. Instagram lives are probably one of my favorite things to do. Sometimes I'll literally come back from the gym at 9:00 at night and just put live and just have a chat with my audience, because that's the best time for them to communicate with me. I've got nothing going on and I'm building a one-on-one relationship, and it's more and they feel like they're actually having being across the table from you, but it's over a screen, and then that also forces the engagement through your comments, through them liking your pictures or videos and everything else. It's just going back to thinking, okay, how can this piece of content that I'm going to post, how can it get me more LTV? How can I get more lifetime value out of my follower from it? And that's what most people aren't thinking. They're just thinking of how many likes can I get out of this versus what can I serve them today that, we're all running a business. Well, how can I get more revenue out of this post, let's say 30, 60, 90 days from now?
Right.
And it all kind of flows together. That's where I like the video side and the live side of things.
Are there any especially effective hacks or strategies that you find work really, really well on Instagram?
One of the really good hacks that I think, it's not really a hack, it's just making sure that you're running traffic. A lot of times people are looking at growing their Instagram accounts through organic methods, but most people are forgetting about that you can actually run paid traffic to grow your Instagram account. Obviously, your costs are going to be based on how good you're at buying media, but you could literally run Facebook traffic or Instagram story ads to get people to come follow you. And if you just do that by incentivizing them to come follow you using tools like Direct Heroes, now all of a sudden, not only are you growing your followership, not only are you growing that, but you're also getting them to come and actually engage with you right off the bat. Because Instagram, one of the top things that they're looking at is how engaged are you in your direct messages. You do that, they're going to start literally favoring you on the feed side of things because you're very, very highly active in your direct messages.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. I really appreciate it.